Good morning, everybody, and welcome to PWR today for Wednesday, April 15th, 2020. My name is Andrew Badal, and I will be your host for the next 20 minutes here, giving you all the updates on the landscape of professional wrestling. Today's headlines include Will Ospreay versus CM Punk. Is it a possibility? Austin Theory, a full-time Monday Night Raw talent. WWE 2K21 is canceled. Christian on possibly getting cleared to compete to the WWE. Seth Rollins back in the WWE Championship picture as we saw on Monday night. WrestleMania 38 possibly heading back to Tampa Bay. And I will discuss with Damian Nelson about the men's and women's Money in the Bank field. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for waking up with us another day here on PWR today for April 15th, 2020. And let's jump into today's top headlines. Austin Theory, a full-time Raw talent. Theory is now pretty much a full-time call-up to the WWE after spending only a few months wrestling on NXT television. Theory was brought in originally to replace an injured Andrade as Angel Garza's tag team partner at WrestleMania 36, but continued to wrestle on Raw and is now a member of Zelina Vega's-led stable. For me, I didn't know much of Austin Theory until he signed with WWE. I think his talent has shown and has been showcased on Monday Night Raw, and I think this is a welcome addition. For me, this screams like a Paul Heyman move. I don't think anybody else besides maybe him and Triple H were looking at Austin Theory and saying this kid can jump to the main roster immediately, and he's had a really good showcase the past couple of weeks, and I look forward to see how they build him going forward. WWE 2K21, the video game, has been rumored to be canceled. The former WWE game writer Justin Leeper has taken to Twitter to announce the plans for WWE 2K21, a game that has been scrapped in favor of a different kind of game, which will likely be a mobile app. He was speaking on a YouTube video when Leeper said, "I'm not a fan of bringing bad news, but it's post-WrestleMania, and I think the fans deserve to know. I've heard on good authority that WWE 2K1 has been canceled. However, another WWE-branded game will enter the ring this year. Traditionally, WrestleMania brought with it a trailer of an announcement or some sort of news about the upcoming video game. This did not happen this year. Why is that? Because I've heard from reliable sources, and I truly believe that there will be no WWE 2K21 game. So for me, I don't play the WWE 2K21 video games, but I know that the 2K20 had a bunch of glitches and people were very unhappy with their purchases. I think we're in a transition period where I know some people love this game, but they really, I think they've done everything they could with these. They used to bring back an old superstar or talent, and then they got a little bit of a run in WWE, i.e. Sting, the whole Goldberg thing. So for me, that being canceled, the only thing I looked forward to with the video game was a trailer to see what legend they were using, because then we possibly got to see them on actual WWE television. So for me, I know I might be in the minority in this one, but this really has no impact, and if it's not selling well and they had to refund everybody, it's purely a business move. So this one got a lot of attention over the past 3 days. Will Ospreay versus CM Punk. Is this a possibility? In a recent interview, CM Punk named Will Ospreay among his potential opponents who potentially get back in the ring for. Other names on that list included Rey Mysterio, John Cena, and Daniel Bryan, making Ospreay the sole name mentioned by CM Punk outside the realm of WWE. I'm sitting here fidgeting and I'm like, this is Will Ospreay's quote. I'm sitting there fidgeting and I'm like, I brought Amazing Red out of retirement. I could bring CM Punk back too. I'm going to try it. I'm going to put it out there to the world. I will always be a CM Punk fan. From the moment he cross-legged on that stage, I was a fan. Jericho was huge when he came over to face Omega. I'm assuming he's talking about when Jericho came over to face Omega at New Japan Pro Wrestling. We could only top that if we got Punk, and I think it could happen. My take on this is simple. I think CM Punk versus Will Ospreay will sell. I think CM Punk versus my broom handle would sell in some arena. It's just CM Punk, if you can get him in a ring, whether it's New Japan Professional Wrestling, WWE, AEW, it doesn't matter. CM Punk will sell. And Will Ospreay against CM Punk is a dream match that I think a lot of people want to see. And it's somebody that CM Punk named in his potential list of opponents that would entice him to get back to the ring. I think this should happen at all costs. If we could get Will Ospreay in WWE, awesome. If CM Punk needs to go wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling, so be it. I just want to see CM Punk back in a wrestling ring, because then I know hopefully it leads to more opportunities to see CM Punk in a wrestling ring. And him versus Will Ospreay, I'd pay on pay-per-view to see. They can take my money. Christian on possibly getting cleared to compete with the WWE. Christian was asked on the recent WWE 24 special about an in-ring return of his good friend and WWE Hall of Famer Edge, if it gave him any hopes of a WWE comeback. Christian said they are two different injuries, but he's already accomplished what he wanted to in WWE besides headlining WrestleMania, and he doesn't see how he would ever get medically cleared to compete. Christian said, I mean, it's one of those things, right? It's a completely different injury. I'm pretty confident with all that I've accomplished in WWE besides main event WrestleMania. And let's be honest, how many people actually get to do that? I've done everything I've wanted to do. It's one of those, I'm 46 years old, I had some concussion issues. It's just a matter of, I don't see it happening. If I'm medically disqualified, I just don't. I'm not sure how I'd ever get cleared. My take on this is simple. Who wouldn't love to see Christian in the ring? But he's 100% spot on here. What more would he need to see Christian do? Do you want Christian and Edge in a tag match with ladders? I don't, obviously the answer is yes. I don't know if they'll ever put their bodies through that again. So I don't know if it's even a possibility. Could you see a Christian and Edge feud? Sure. I just don't see and this is coming from a Christian fan. I've always enjoyed Christian's work. I don't know what else Christian has left to accomplish. I think he has done everything he needed to do. He won multiple titles. He won World Heavyweight Championships. I think Christian should enjoy his retirement. And if he wants to come back for a couple matches here and there, so be it. I would just hope that they are something that is a big, big draw and is something that is worth him coming out of retirement. Because it seems like if you want to get cleared nowadays, you pretty much can. Seth Rollins back in the WWE Championship picture. Seth Rollins curb stomped WWE Champion Drew McIntyre to close Monday Night's Raw. This match is rumored to take place at WWE's next pay-per-view event, Money in the Bank. My thoughts on this, again, are very simple. Seth Rollins back in the championship picture. I don't think you could ask for a better heel right now to go after Drew McIntyre. I think his match with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania was off the charts. And I think realistically, I don't know where else they could have gone for a heel for Drew McIntyre to defend his, newly won WWE champion. I think it's the perfect situation. I think Seth Rollins is probably going to lose that match at Money in the Bank unless they just feel like Drew isn't doing anything. But realistically, I don't see how that measuring stick would be accurate. There's no fans. There's no live event gates, et cetera, et cetera. I think Drew's going to hold on to that title for as long as he possibly can until we can actually get in front of a crowd. So I'm just looking forward to this match. I was very intrigued and enticed by that Andrade versus Drew match that we saw on Monday Night Raw. We've seen it in NXT before, but it was nice to see it on Monday Night Raw, and I did enjoy it. And I'm going to enjoy this one too. I think Seth Rollins against Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. I'll be watching. WWE WrestleMania 38, possibly heading back to Tampa Bay. That is the big rumor and innuendo out there right now that the WWE was deemed essential because the WWE in the state of Florida have agreed to bring back the Showcase of the Immortals here. I can't comment on this. I don't know if this is a possibility or if this is fact or fiction. I do believe that WrestleMania 38 has a very good chance of ending up in Tampa Bay. If you're asking me, do you think that was a bargaining chip to get them deemed essential? It's possible. I think that WrestleMania 38 or 39 is going to be in Florida and at Tampa Bay just because, they did nothing to lose WrestleMania besides a virus that has shut down pretty much everything. And I think it's only a matter of time before you see WrestleMania back in Tampa, Florida. PWR today, I am joined by, I'm not going to be able to do his intro that he does for David Hero, but Damian Nelson. Damian, thanks for joining us.
Andrew, Octavius Tiberius Vidala.
Yes, because I'm not a backyard, one-time knockout Hall of Famer, right? Is that how the rest of that goes?
Exactly. Straight edge hardcore, by the way. Yes.
There it is. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Happy to be on this podcast. Happy to be with you. Happy to talk about wrestling, if you will.
Yeah, thanks for waking up with us.
I'm a morning guy.
Yeah, me too. That changed all when I had kids.
I'm not a morning guy at all.
I was gonna sell it for you because
No.
So let's talk about Money in the Bank 2020. We saw some qualifiers on Monday Night Raw 2 nights ago, and those 3 competitors who qualified were Asuka, Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax. There's 4 other participants. There's 4.
You said Nia Jax. That's about where you lost me. Or no, that's about where you gained me. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And 4 other participants that are all, to be determined. Let's talk about the 3 that qualified. Out of those 3 right now, who do you see as the best possibility of winning this match?
I think you got to go with Nia Jax. Nia Jax she just came back. She has started this swirl, if you will, with Ronda Rousey. Her winning Money in the Bank while, Rousey isn't champion right now. I think it sets up a great story down the road. But I'm a big fan of Nia Jax. I think that she is the, almost like Awesome Kong. She's the anti-diva, but the diva still at the same time. And I think that's a great way to differentiate her from everybody else. And I'd like to see her move forward in this tournament, move forward to the Money in the Bank match, win the Money in the Bank match, and have the bragging rights of the briefcase. But beyond Money in the Bank, because I'd rather not talk about pay-per-views that won't happen, because I think they canceled the event, right?
They canceled. Yes, they did cancel the event for the live crowd in Baltimore. Yes.
Oh, good. That arena sucks. The Royal Farms or whatever it is.
You're not kidding.
They need a new arena. But be that as it may, tonight on AEW, because I've been deemed an AEW fanboy, and I'll take that because you know what? There's going to be a great match. It's Jon Moxley defending against Hager. Yeah. And we know that Jim Ross is returning to commentary tonight. Now, Money in the Bank is a couple of weeks away. This match tonight has huge implications because AEW is trying to frame what they are going to be going forward. Now, you saw the Raw ratings that came out yesterday, and they had one of their lowest audiences, if not their lowest audience of 2020. The studio shows, while I think AEW is excelling at those, are only going to have so much shelf life. So tonight is really, really going to be a very important night for AEW because they've got to keep that audience engaged. And I wouldn't be surprised because what's been great about this.
Oh, don't say it.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new champion because why not hotshot it? If there was ever a time to hotshot in professional wrestling, now is it because they've got to keep that audience engaged. And this has nothing to do with my feelings about Moxley because I have been very public in saying I don't get it. But Jack Hager, he that's his name, right? Jake Hager, I know.
I know that was a play on Jack and Jake. I get it. Jack Swagger. I got it.
Jack and Joe went up the hill. Hey, tonight's a big night. NXT, slightly edged out AEW last week in the ratings. I think if you look at the plus sevens with the DVRs or whatnot, it's probably more equal than what last night or last week was.
AEW won the 18 demo, and I think that's the biggest thing there. So I think everybody needs to calm down with the whole ratings. I know it's
why are you always telling people to calm down?
I just think the WWE fans, like the loyalists, are always like, we won one, like, we're sticking it to AEW. Listen, I don't think that's going to last. I think AEW is going to beat the doors off the WWE tonight, just with this episode, because WWE threw their best 1-2 at AEW last week, and realistically, I mean, they only won by what I think it was 1,000 viewers, which is nothing to sneeze at. But I hate. I don't hate your logic in hot-shotting because it's sound. The thing I hate is giving Jake Hager that championship. Moxley, I've been vocal too. I think they should have kept the belt on Jericho. I think Moxley's done well. The promos here, the build has been fantastic. Even though Hager looked like he was reading off a teleprompter on one of these episodes, I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago or last week. It's just been good. The whole build has been good, and I'm excited for it. And we get in my opinion, and I'm going to ask for yours, the best announcer in wrestling history calling this match.
Yeah, here's the thing. Moxley, I think, is great as champion because he needs it. I think Hager would be great as champion because he can use it. I think that Jericho doesn't need the championship, and I think this is great because here's what we got out of it. Tonight on AEW, we're going to see Moxley versus Hager, and we wouldn't have seen that if Jericho was champion, and the stakes would not be as high because the championship wouldn't be on the line. JR is going to make it feel real. JR is going to bring us into that empty arena. This is, I believe, a stipulation match too, right? It's a last man standing or a hardcore match, something of that nature.
Yeah, they're billing it as an empty arena, no holds barred match.
Hey, tons of potential. AEW has won the war of studio shows as of late, barring NWA Power because they started the studio shows. But AEW has won the war so far. They're much more appealing to watch. I'm looking forward to watching it tonight. I know NXT has their tournament going on with what is it? It's not rounds. It's phases or something like that, or groups or whatever.
Yeah, they're gonna crown an interim cruiserweight champion, much like UFC did when Conor walked away for a little while. So I obviously the situation's different, but there's no pull for that for me.
Unfortunately, I don't care. I don't care about what NXT is doing, and it pains me to say that actually. And it's not that I like AEW that much more, but in this era now of studio shows and wrestling shows without a live audience, AEW has kept my interest. Dynamite has kept my interest on TNT. They feel to be the most real. They feel to be the most prepared to present shows in this situation. And here's the great thing we're getting out of all of this, Andrew, is they're now telling us what's going to be on the shows and actually delivering what they're telling us is going to be on the shows. So it's
and they're spoiler free, which is nice, right? I mean, that's one thing that sucks about wrestling is with the advent of the internet. I mean, everything's spoiled, and this is nice. We're not getting anything spoiled.
Not at all, and it's great, and it feels great to watch and engage as a fan again. Look, I look forward to watching AEW on Wednesday nights. I look forward to some degree to watching SmackDown on Friday nights. I don't look forward to watching Raw, and we've talked about this on the show and we have a live reaction tonight right before AEW where we're going to talk about Ronda Rousey and the XFL because that whole thing is unique. But when you're asking me to make a 3-hour investment in your program every week, I just can't do it. I'm sorry.
No,
a 2-hour
understand
digestible investment into AEW, a 2-hour digestible investment into SmackDown. Absolutely, sign me up because if I don't like it an hour in, I can be done at that point. I don't have to commit to another hour to see or another 30 minutes to see if you're going to get me. I think we're going to see a great episode of Dynamite tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm not a WWE fanboy by any stretch of the means, but I did enjoy Monday Night Raw because I think it was the first Raw we saw in like 4 to 5 weeks that wasn't a recap or promo heavy.
Hey, there was a Ricochet match. I was fine.
There you go. Even though he got destroyed by the Viking Raiders.
There was a Ricochet match. I was fine.
Yeah, I mean, listen, AEW, in my opinion, has put out a far superior product than NXT the past, I would say, 3-4 months. I do believe last week's episode of NXT was a better episode than Dynamite. Dynamite kind of, in my opinion, fell flat. But I do think that they will rebound this week, especially with this championship match. And you know what? I know AEW is getting a lot of credit for their stance on taping and all that other stuff because they're taking the proper precautions. But, it's professional wrestling and we're being entertained. I think we should all just be happy.
Yeah, we should all be happy, but let's not dismiss the fact of what we talked about on primetime on Monday night. WWE and its money and its influence got them the ability to go back and do these live shows 3 times a week. AEW got screwed by the influence and the money in not just wrestling, but in politics because they got kicked out of Jacksonville, Florida, whereas the governor of Florida has deemed not Orlando, not any of the local governing agencies in Orlando, the state governor has decided that WWE is somehow or another essential, which is a bunch of crap, and AEW, same thing, is not. That's a huge issue, and that's why so many more fans are willing to latch on to the AEW train than they are NXT on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, I think there's more than meets the eye with that. I do think that there's obviously some
very
good point.
Linda McMahon's running a super PAC to reelect Trump.
Yeah, I'm going to save my opinion for a different time. I just don't think
look, that's not politics. That's a fact. That's how Drew, you're a smart man. That's how this whole thing works. The money, follow the money, you get to the answer. The money is there. The answer is WWE deemed essential. You can't go to church. You can't go to the ale house. You can't go to one of the fine establishments on Orange Blossom Trail to spend some 20s. But you can go to WWE can show up and do their shows. There's some digging that needs to be done into that. And AEW got the short end of that stick.
Yeah, I just wish that maybe we would focus on the contracts that WWE has and their investors.
Not my problem.
Fox. I agree. I agree with you. I'm just saying I think that maybe Fox maybe said to Vince or Vince McMahon in the WWE, hey, if you don't go live, we're ripping up your biggest TV contract that you've ever had.
Well, a big thanks to Damian Nelson for joining me on that Money in the Bank for the men's and women's qualifying matches and who we think is going to shine this year at Money in the Bank. WWE NXT is tonight. Make sure you tune into that. And don't forget AEW Dynamite with that big title match between Jon Moxley and Jake Hager with Jim Ross back on the calls. I'm Andrew Baydala. You could follow PWR Today on Facebook and Instagram at PWR360 Now, Twitter, PWR360, and anything for professional wrestling news and podcasts at www.pwr360.com. You could follow me at Ticket Drew. It's been a pleasure talking to you this morning. Hope you all have a great rest of your day and enjoy the professional wrestling that is coming your way from both All Elite Wrestling and World Wrestling Entertainment tonight.